He saw it perfectly clearly. His stunning wife was frolicking in the pool with a strange man. Yet, he didn't confront her then and there. Instead, he turned and walked away, heading back into the hotel room. Even though the disheveled bedsheets confirmed his wife's infidelity, Ted's face remained eerily calm. Later, when his wife returned to the villa, exhausted, he even stepped forward to embrace her deeply. But this absolutely did not mean he could tolerate her betrayal.
See, Mrs. Smith.
I'm sorry.
Don't be. Knowledge is pain. I'm used to that. Not that I don't get some little pleasures in return for the pain, mind you.
Ted was determined not only to rip off his wife's mask but to meticulously plan a flawless revenge. The sound of gunshots startled the gardener working in the garden. Frantic knocking on the door began immediately. Yet Ted remained utterly composed. He deliberately fired several more shots at the clear windowpane, frightening the gardener away. Next, he dragged his wife's body to a corner, bent down to pick up the hot shell casings from the floor, and meticulously rearranged the crime scene. He took off his shirt, which might have had blood spatter, and threw it into the fireplace, burning it completely. Finally, he washed his hands repeatedly with hot water, scrubbing away any lingering smell of gunpowder. Ted moved as calmly as an artist working on a masterpiece, methodically handling every deadly detail, and then waited quietly for the police to arrive. Soon, sirens wailed as the police, responding to the report, surrounded Ted's villa like a steel drum. By coincidence, the sheriff in charge of the case was the very man Ted's wife had been secretly meeting. Though their affair had been passionate, to protect their respective families, they had always used code names and never revealed their true identities or social connections. Therefore, the sheriff had no idea that the crime scene he was about to enter belonged to his lover, and this was precisely the most lethal, the most brilliant piece in Ted's entire revenge chess game. He had the sheriff enter the room alone, peering through the narrow crack in the door. The sheriff saw the weapon tightly gripped in Ted's hand and immediately grew cautious. He suggested they both put down their weapons before coming in to talk. This was exactly what Ted had hoped for. He placed his weapon aside first. Seeing the threat removed, the sheriff entered the room as agreed and put down his own weapon. Ted confessed outright to killing his wife and coldly gestured towards where the body lay. The sheriff followed the gesture, but his gaze caught the photos on the wall. He froze. Rushing over to look, he realized the truth in that instant. At that very moment, Ted had silently moved behind him, weapon now in hand, but the sheriff reacted swiftly, turning and grabbing the weapon, slamming Ted hard to the floor. A flood of police officers burst through the door instantly, quickly subduing Ted. The sheriff discovered the woman on the floor still had faint signs of life. He immediately placed an oxygen mask on her, loaded her onto a stretcher, and rushed her to the hospital. The sheriff stood rooted to the spot, his face a mixture of immense shock and confusion. As Ted was loaded into the police car, a cold, knowing smirk played on his lips, as if everything was going exactly as planned. The case landed on the desk of District Attorney Willie. Willie was young, capable, and experienced, fresh off being recruited by a prestigious law firm and basking in his joy. He hadn't intended to take on a new case, but colleagues persuaded him that this case was straightforward, with clear facts, solid evidence, and even a confession signed by the suspect. It would be a mere formality. Willie reluctantly agreed. However, Ted acted with unnerving confidence in court. He flatly refused to hire a lawyer, insisting on representing himself. He even urged them to skip the tedious procedures and proceed to trial as quickly as possible. This seemingly self-destructive move secretly delighted Willie.